Welcome once again to Hope Rocks Recovery, Hope Answers. I'm Uncle Mike from WRWD, proud and humbled to be part of this. My partner in crime, Joe DeFino, is here. Joe is the founder of Hope Rocks. How are you, Joe?
I'm excellent, Uncle Mike. So good to be here. So good to be here.
And joining us this week is Frankie Wright, who was in this from the beginning with us. Unfortunately, last week I screwed up the last time we were on because I forgot to remind them that we were on a different day. Anyway, Frankie's here. Frankie, how are you, brother?
I'm great, man. Really happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Well, you know, Frankie, Joe and I talked about this the three of us talked about this for a long time, and Joe and I are doing this because we want to help everybody we can, but that is underscored by you wanting to help everybody you can because you lived it. And we say it all the time. Stigma is one of the things we're trying to get rid of, but the peer-to-peer mentoring, I got to be honest with you, is really the only thing that works. And if I've been blessed, I've never had an addiction, but if someone does, I can understand why would you talk to me if you can talk to somebody who's lived it, and that's why, you know, and that's the life you're living right now.
Absolutely. I mean, since I got sober, that's what I've been doing. A lot of people helped me when I first got sober, so somebody asks, I'll help them. Sometimes even if they don't ask, I'll try to help them. It's all how it goes.
Well, it's all part of it, Frankie, and, you know, I think you've told me several times that you would not wish anybody to go through what you went through, and if there's a way to prevent that, that's what you're going to do. You're going to make sure you can give them the tools to try to start the recovery, and that's the key, is to get started. And once you get started, then it's really up to you how hard you want to work at it, but sometimes you do need help, and that's where you come in. Yeah,
it's like anything, right? First step, one day at a time. That's what we do. Sometimes the hardest thing is taking that first step when you're in the depths of that nightmare. Sometimes that little helping hand can really do a lot for you.
Frankie, that first step you talk about, the challenges of taking that first step, what specifically are some of those challenges? What prevents people from making that first attempt at changing their lives, becoming sober, living a life of wellness? What are some of those obstacles that you've encountered?
Well, Mike hit the nail right on the head. It's stigma, right? So when I was out there, I was not only an alcoholic, I was hooked on pain medications, which eventually led me to being hooked on fentanyl. And the scariest thing for me in the world was to tell someone that I was an addict. There's still people that to this day that'll say like they couldn't believe I was from where I came from and where I am now. So when you're living that life of like saying normal, it's really hard to tell people I am not okay. That's why I say all the time, I tell like kids and stuff, it is okay to not be okay, because in my world, it was definitely not okay. It was not okay to not be okay. And that's the hardest thing, is the stigma, the people thinking how people are going to think of me, right? I'm disgusting. I'm garbage human. And when you truly think that about yourself, it's very hard to take that first step. That's why, you know, the things that you guys are doing, reaching out to people, letting them know it is okay, that is mind-blowingly good to help someone ask for help.
But you do know, Frankie, that in order for us to do what we'd like to do, we need to get people like you who have walked the walk, have made that journey, are on the journey, and are dealing with the difficulties of staying on that path every single day to help us reach out to people. And you know, this program, though it's taped, we really want people to interact. We will have our email up, we'll have our phone numbers up, we'll have ways that you can text us, ways that you can contact us. Obviously, you know, if you want to comment on the YouTube channel or you want to comment on the Facebook page for which this appears, please do. We'll check it, and we will make sure that your questions are answered and do everything we can to connect you with the experts that can help you to take that step and really enjoy the life that you're meant to live?
You know, it's interesting. Joe opened the question he asked you, and you talked about stigma. I remember early on you and I having discussions, and you told me that in that first year of sobriety, you still couldn't bring yourself to tell people where you had been. And until you could do that and really, you know, our old friend Jelly Roll ripped that rearview mirror off and watched the windshield, you told me that several times. That's when you really felt like you recovered.
Yeah, I mean, I literally told somebody that today. It's all about being honest with yourself, right? The hardest thing to do in the world is to say, I'm an addict. You know, I'm addicted to this substance. I cannot get by another second in this day. I cannot deal with my emotions or feelings. I cannot get through without this substance. I'll speak from like my experience as a man, and I came from like a football background and things like that. I would have to admit I was weak, and that I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for years. I had 20 years of alcoholism and addiction, sometimes worse than others, and in the end, it was very worse. But that is the thing. It's like being honest with yourself, realizing that I am not all powerful, and there are things out there in this world that are more powerful than me. That was the most important thing. That was the true first step, was admitting to myself what I was, and I needed help.
And that took a long time to get there, buddy.
It's a long road, my man.
But it's important that we say that, because there's people listening to us right now or on that road, and they think it's a long time, but it's never too late. Today is the day. This hour is the hour you could turn it around. And that's the beauty of this. You can start it at any time. When you decide to give up whatever it is, the demon you have, give it up and get better. That's when it all starts. You know, and I just, the thing with this stigma, it bothers me all the time. Joe and I talk about it all the time. And you and I obviously talk about it. That stigma is deadly. And if you can't get by that stigma, like you said, both in the recovery world and in veterans worlds that are recovering from PTS, it's okay not to be okay. You have to accept that. All of us, everybody, every walk of life has demons about them. They have things that they're either addicted to or that are haunting them. And until you face them and knock them down and get going in the right direction, you're never going to recover. And sometimes because of that stigma, you're afraid, like Frankie, you may be afraid what I thought of you at first. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm saying if you were never going to open up to me like you did. Fortunately, you and I know each other and we hit it off right away and we're honest with each other. But that doesn't always work that way.
I was fully ready. I was fully ready to die alone. I was fully ready to lay in that street and die alone, because the shame that I had as a father, as a son, as a nephew, as everything that I was ready to die alone. I couldn't admit it. I didn't want anyone to know really what I was. So I had all these visions in my head, like if I just die here in these streets, maybe someone will think I got mugged, and then no one will ever know, and I could save my sons and my mother and father and everyone the embarrassment. And there was a time in my life when I was going to use, and I said, in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe this will be the one. Maybe this will be the one that takes me out, and I can stop causing pain and stop causing shame and embarrassment to my family. Higher power, God, whatever, something kept me going. And it was definitely something more powerful than me. I can tell you that.
Well, and I know that your story too well, and I know, first of all, your aunt had a lot to do with it. She probably saved your life, because it was that final night where you probably were not going to make it through the night that she called your dad and your brother up and said, if you don't come get him, he's not going to make it through the night, and she meant it. And thank God they listened to her.
Is it okay if I tell this part of the story?
Sure.
All right, so I was 160 pounds. I'm 240 right now, so I was 80 pounds, roughly, underweight. I was living on the streets. I slept under a dryer vent. This nice guy knew I was there, but in the winter it was cold, so he let me sleep under a dryer vent. anyway, that was just to give you, I had previously overdosed and had been Narcaned, essentially brought back to life. I had this aunt, her name was Aunt Marie. She's my best friend in the whole world. She came and found me, and she was, at that time, she was the only person alive still checking on me. And she came and checked on me that day, and then she gave me food and things like that. She wouldn't give me money, and trust me, in the state I was in, I asked, but she gave me food. And what she was doing was checking to see that I was still alive. When she left me, she always just tell me about, she would always get a feeling if something bad was going to happen. That was her thing. And she called my brother, and she was like, you better go get him. I know you guys aren't talking. I know there's anger and hurt and all those things, but you better go get him, because if you don't, I'm pretty sure you're never going to see him again. And my brother and father came and searched the streets, and they found me. So many things. I mean, I could fill up this entire podcast with stories of little miracles that have happened to me. And I can just tell you, I'm so grateful to be here now. That's why I do things like this now. I will do anything in my power to help someone else not end up where I ended up, or even worse.
But the beauty of that story is, like I said before, there's people listening to us right now that are going through that. They're in the same situation you just described. And I hope if they're listening to us that they're saying, my God, look at Frankie. Look what he's back to 240 pounds. He looks like a football player. And he's living, I can tell you, talking to him all the time, he's living his best life at this point. And we're going to get into your family is back. You're back with your family. You've got your kids back. You got a great girl in your life. And things couldn't be going any better if you tried, but it wasn't. Are you 5 years now?
May 4th, I will have 5 years completely clean and sober of any mind-altering substance. So
5 years is not that long a time to go from where you were, what you just described, on death's door.
Yes,
and
sir.
God bless your aunt. She's resting in heaven right now. God bless her. But had she not intervened that night, I believe what you told me and what your father had told me when I saw him, that you would not have made it through the night. You were probably at the end, and you just admitted that you were at a point where you were kind of wishing it was over.
I was accepting to die, and I had made peace with that. I thought I was too much on my family and anymore. I just figured I was a burden, and they would all be better off without me. Fortunately, that was not true.
Frankie, one of the joys that I have is watching you interact both personally and through your social media with your boys. And, and remembering how difficult it must have been for you to look in the mirror, realize you're a father, and assess your role as a father, assess your ability to be a father. And here we are in 2026. And you're playing ball with your sons. You're watching them grow into respectable young men themselves. Describe that whole thought process and feeling that you go through.
Absolutely. I will try not to cry.
You can cry. It's all right.
So when I first got sober, my youngest was 2, and he was 3, and my older one was 10. Just turning 11, so let's say 11. Backtrack a little bit, about 6 months before I even thought about getting sober, I received a phone call from my older one. And this poor kid, he was sick and tired of me not showing up. He was sick and tired of telling me, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and I would never come. And one of my hardest memories is both my boys are baseball players. I mean, my older one now is primarily football, which is near and dear to my heart. But he told me I got a travel baseball game down in South Jersey. I had no car at the time. This was right when I was really starting to lose everything. And I told him, I'll be there no matter what. I'll be there. And he had never hit a home run at this point over the fence. And I didn't make it, obviously. And I received a video from one of the other dads, and it was him hitting his first home run. I still to this day have, like, you know, I try to let the past be in the past, but there are just some things that still hurt when you think about them, you know? So after that, I got a phone call from him, and he basically told me, I'm tired of you lying. My friends are telling me that you owe their dads money. I'm embarrassed. I mean, he was 11 years old talking to me like a grown man. And I give him so much credit, and I'm so proud of him for standing up for himself and his own mental health and his feelings at 11 years old. And he said, I'm done. Don't talk to me. And I'm like, he's a little kid, right? He doesn't mean this. That kid held it. I called him on his birthday, and he wouldn't take my call. I kept calling, and he wouldn't take my call. And good for him, right? Like, you know how hard that must have been for him to say no to his dad? My little guy, thank goodness, he don't remember those days because he was so little. Every once in a while, he'll pop in like, Dad, remember when we were driving around in circles? I was driving around, you know, rough areas looking for my drug, and that poor kid just had to sit in the back, the heat on. But so that was where I was at. When I was in the sober house, still neither of them, zero contact. So it had been almost a year at that point before I heard from either of them. And I get a letter from my son, and I'm very excited, the older one. And I'm not going to go, I know he doesn't like anymore, like he doesn't like hearing all the details of the letter. But basically the letter said that he was moving on. He had a great stepdad, which he still does to this day. And he was moving on. So he didn't care what I did. And again, proud of him for that too. It helped me. Don't get me wrong. Hardest thing I ever read in my life. But it motivated me. It said, even if he never talks to me again, I'm going to prove that letter wrong. So I'm in the sober house for 7 months and not one word. The little guy, my mom started toward the end, started bringing the little guy around, little Frankie. And then my older son, Aiden, calls me like a week before Christmas. Now, my release date, shockingly enough, I don't know why they did this, was New Year's Eve. So they're releasing me into the world on my own from a sober house on New Year's Eve.
There's a good idea.
Yeah, real bad. Scared to death. I'm living with 15 people. Now I'm going to be little tiny studio by myself. So a week before Christmas, my son calls and he says, here's the deal. Now he's 12. Here's the deal. You're going to come here. I heard you've been doing good. You're going to come here. You're not coming in the house. You're going to sit in the garage. And it was cold. We're going to talk. Mom's going to be there. And if I feel like you're lying to me in any way, shape, or form, I will just turn around and walk out and you'll never hear from me again. I'm giving you one chance because I do want my dad back. I said, okay. That was it. Okay. And I went and we had an amazing conversation. I answered every question for the first time in that kid's life. I was truly honest. He asked me what it felt like to overdose. He asked me why I was a drug addict. I explained it to him the best I could. He was 11, 12. When it was over, I think just knowing, like he saw it in my face, that I finally wasn't lying to him, we hugged, and we have been unreal ever since. I stayed sober. I kept working on myself. I started doing a lot of service. I started finding that I have an, I don't want to call it a knack for helping people, but helping people helps me just as much as it helps them, right? And that took off. I met this organization called Ryan, Raising Your Awareness About Narcotics. Those people are forever in my heart. I mean, they scooped me up like I was family. And they didn't know me that well, but they just did it. And I can talk more about that organization, which I'd like to if we have time. That I meet this guy, Joe, and I'm like, you know, I'm getting out of sober house. I got no clothes. Like, I literally, all of my outfit was hoodie and sweatpants and hand-me-downs from, like, other people who lived in the sober house. I had nothing. And then Joe hooks me up with all these nice clothes to go on a job interview. And he didn't know me that well either. You know, I've only been around Saugerties for 7 months. So over and over and over, that just kept happening. So I digressed a little bit. I'm sorry. But
okay.
Now where I'm at with my boys, I just left the younger one who is now 11, and we're having a catch, and I'm teaching him to pitch. And he's going to be a way better pitcher than I ever was. And my older one, he's my best friend. I mean, we go to the gym together. He calls me. This is crazy, right? So when he's upset and he's having a bad day, he calls me. Yo, he didn't even want to talk to me 5 years ago. Now he relies on me, and me, him. Like, my son is like rock star smart, and he's very in touch with like his emotions. I don't know if it's because what he went through, but this kid, I go to him with adult stuff. I mean, yes and no. You know, he's still a kid, but like, if I'm sad or depressed, I'll call up Aiden, and he talks me through it, and him for me. I mean, me and that kid are like this now, and I'm part of the coaching staff for his varsity football team. He's coming up he'll be a senior this year. He's talking about playing college football. He asked me to make his highlight video, right? Like, all blessings of sobriety and recovery. I have the greatest relationship with my two sons. And to be honest with you, I would have had a good relationship with them no matter what. Like, say I never used, never drank. I'd have a good relationship with them. I almost feel like what we've gone through together, and I feel like we have a better relationship than we ever would have had. Now, I'm not saying go out and jack up your life and then build it all back together, and then you'll have this great relationship with your kids. I'm just saying that's my story.
But through all that darkness and all that despair, here's a blessing that you're able to see that you never thought was possible.
Greatest blessing of my life is my relationship
Uncle
with my
Mike,
two
we
kids.
really have to thank Frankie for his honesty,
Oh, yeah.
his courage, and his willingness to use his story to help others.
Yeah, Frankie, I'm curious, and we've talked a lot, but so what you just, I've heard before a lot of what you know, I've heard your story a lot, and I'm always blown away by it. And you know, you're one of my biggest heroes for making it through. You're a warrior. I mean, it's making it through. You are. And anybody who recovers, to me, is a warrior. I never had the addiction, but I know, I can see what you've gone through, and I've had people in my life that I lost that didn't win the battle. So I know, you know, I've got an idea. But I'm curious, how much of a role do you think your two kids had in your recovery? It sounds like it was a lot.
Like I told you, my son wrote me that letter.
Yeah.
That could have went one or two ways. I could have said, screw it. My kid hates me, I'm out. And just went right back to those streets, and I wouldn't be sitting here now. But, you know, it motivated me. Like, even if I never see those kids again, I'm never going to be what they saw me as. I'm never going to be that again. Am I going to be perfect? Absolutely not.
Nobody's perfect.
No
buddy.
way. And I screw up all the time still in recovery and sobriety. But those kids were like the pinpoint of the start of my recovery and my daily recovery every day. You know, and I talk to them both every day. I don't get to see them every day. I'm not with either of their mothers. If it was my way, they would both live with me full time, but you take what life gives you, right? And you accept it. And yeah, they're a pinpoint of my recovery. Can I add a little more to that?
Sure.
My parents, my mom and dad, you know, they've been there through it all. My mom wouldn't give up on me.
Most mothers won't.
I feel bad because I knew that, and in active addiction, I used that. And I feel horrible, but I look back on it, and she just didn't want it to be. You know, she didn't want it to be true. My brother, my sister, I feel bad for her. She had to be the hard ass. Like, she had to go to my mom and be like, stop giving him money. He's lying. Like, you're never going to help him if you just keep giving him money. So my sister had to take that role. My brother had to take the role of, You know, my brother's been the savior 3 times. You know, he took me to rehab all 3 times. And then my dad, like, trying to maintain everybody. And then I have these nieces and nephews. And I have the greatest relationship with them. They're like my little crew. They range from 22 to 11, you know, down to little Frankie. I love these kids. When we're on vacation, like, I'm not sitting on the beach all day. Like, God bless my family. I love them. But they like to sit on the beach all day. I'm like, yo, whoever's coming, we're going to do something. We catch, like, a minor league baseball game. Like, my family, all as a whole, like, that is the rock of motivation. And then you take all the people who aren't related to me, like you two sitting right here, right? And then there's, like, other organizations. Like, I got to talk about Ryan, right? So Ryan is raising your awareness about narcotics. Ryan is Ryan Kelder. He was a 22, 23-year-old kid. He died of an overdose in 2015. His family found him. Like, that's enough to totally have a family shut down, to me. I don't think I could ever handle that. I'd like to say I would, but I don't know. This family started this organization in his name and made it an acronym. His sister thought of it. And it started with just like, let's do a run and raise some money for maybe we can help some other families. Now it's this incredible charity. They have a house. It's like a sober clubhouse. There's like 40 meetings a week there, from AA to NA to Al-Anon. It's all not just like recovery. It's like families. Like, let's help families. It's all the meetings you can think of. There was a meeting for I can't think.
There's
of
grief counseling
Thank you.
meetings.
That's what I'm
There's
looking
Al-Anon.
for.
There's Alateen. There's
Yes.
it's an incredible organization,
And here's the very cool part. That entire organization is fully self-funded, meaning all donation.
Yeah.
All donation. They're not accepting, we're not getting grants from the, and I say we, and I very humbly say that because I am on the board there, but I'm a very, very, very small cog in that incredible wheel that is Ryan. I'll just tell you how I met them really quick. Vince Kelder that's the father of Ryan. He was building Ryan House, so they bought it and needed like tons of work. It was like an old Knights of Columbus building. So I'm in the sober house and I'm riding my bike and I just see the R. So their symbol is an R in the Superman symbol. And I have an F on my arm for like 25 years with a Superman symbol. So I see that sign and I'm like, oh, that's a sign from God, right? I'm 4 months sober. I got tons of emotion going on. I'm going to roll in there. And there's Vince with everyone helping him redo this place was in recovery or supports recovery. And it was all like donated work, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm 4 months sober. I used to be an electrician. I got it. I'll do all the things you want me to do. Just give me some tools and I'm good to go. And he said, slow down. Why don't you just be sober and hang out with sober people? And every weekend I did that. I went there and I swept the floors.
I laugh only because of knowing Vince and knowing his recovery journey and his ability to lead other people to recovery and understand the process, understanding that, you know, we want to change the world yesterday, and we can't change the world yesterday. And in order for us to take care of ourselves, we do have to slow down. And so he's able to relate that in a manner in which is very effective and just so powerful. But Uncle Mike, just a quick side note on the Ryan House. We talk about stigma. When the Ryan House was first being discussed as to be brought into Saugerties, where this organization is not funded by any grant or anything like that, it's completely privately funded. They raised the capital to purchase this building, and it was an old Knights of Columbus. And the resistance that the organizers met because of stigma, because of all of these negative thoughts and connotations about recovery, It was just mind-blowing. And to see the work that it's doing and the lives that it's changing is just phenomenal. And Frankie is an integral part to that whole organization.
I've been there and a lot of other projects where the people's not in my community. You're not putting that near my kids,
Yeah,
the
right.
whole thing. And in a certain way, you understand their fear, but at the same time, if not there, then where? It had to happen somewhere. And thank God that, is it Victor or Vinny?
Vince.
Vincent.
Yeah.
Thank God Vincent had the fortitude to not give up and keep going, because they can wear you down pretty quick, some of these towns. Trust me, I've been through it.
I can tell you right now, wholeheartedly, my recovery is different without the Ryan House. I was so alone up there, you know, like I got into the sober house. None of my family was talking to me. I was just like, well, I guess I'm on my own. I'll figure this out. I met some people in meetings, and that was it. But my recovery is very different. They taught me unconditional love, like love without expecting anything in return. And Randy, Ryan's sister, one day she just comes to me and says, I mean, I literally hold her responsible for all the speaking that I do now, and even like being here right now. I owe that to her. She came to me one day, and she had been speaking in schools for quite a while. I mean, she's a rock star. And she says to me, you ever speak in a school? Like, you ever tell your story to kids? I'm like, yo, what? I'm just getting used to, like, telling my story just in front of my recovery people. And she said, well, I had become a Saugerties football coach, too, when I first got sober. That's a whole nother cool story. But anyway, so she said, well, the kids know you talk to the kids. Let's try it out. And so I said, all right, cool. What's the first school? And the first school happened to be where my nephews went.
Oh, boy.
And my sister worked. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I can tell you, the first time, it was horrible. I told a story that didn't go in order. I was sweating like crazy. But I just kept doing it. Randy kept asking me to come. I usually speak with Randy and this guy, Nick. And we have done so many schools together now. I'm actually very comfortable in a large crowd of people telling my story, because I've put that stigma away. I don't care what people think about my past. What matters is I'm doing right now. So I'm telling you, my recovery is very different without the Ryan House and the Ryan organization. Everybody on that board, I love them like family, and the amount of love I have for Vince, that will be forever.
You know, and it's fascinating, Frankie, listening to what you've gone through and what you just explained, that it's something that is going to stick with you forever. You know, I mean, your recovery is going to be the rest of your life, and I think that's important. That people like Joe and I you fight every day to stay sober. Now, granted, you've got control of it, and you're doing a great job. But you know, last episode we had Chef Michael on here. Here's a guy that was sober a couple months, and his kid committed suicide. Talk about a trigger. You know, and you admitted yourself there was a couple triggers that you came across there. You weren't really sure how that was going to go, because it was everything at that point was brand new to you. You got that out of the life that you were in, where you really didn't have control. Now you have control again, but it's like it's all new territory. I think that, and you know, the other thing we have to talk about all the time. Now, thank God you're almost 5 years sober, but it takes a lot of people several times to get sober.
I didn't get it on the first time.
And you told me before, detoxing is the easiest part of the whole thing. Detoxing, everybody can detox and get clean for a short time. It's maintaining that is where the trouble comes in.
Well, what I meant by that was controlled environment. It's easier. It makes it easier on you. Like, let me rephrase that. It makes it easier on you when you're in that controlled environment and you have all these people helping you and you have a counselor literally right there all the time. But when you get into the real world and you are on your own, that's when people like I've been talking about come in, right? That's when sober support, people who have been through it before, now they're helping you. You know, I learned from them. Sometimes I say I'm Vince trained. I learned from them, like, how to help people expecting nothing in return except for them to get better. So that's how that worked for me is,
and that's why we're here right now, and that's why you're doing this with us, because we're trying to make that point that you're here. Frankie's here. Trust me, you can call Frankie anytime and tell him what's going on, and he will help you somehow. Maybe not directly, but he'll get you going in the right direction. He'll get you in front of somebody like Vincent. He'll get you to somebody, and Frankie, you think about it. You've said it a couple times this show. 5 years ago, where you were and where you are now, it's almost impossible to think that could have happened. To be honest with you, it happened the way it happened, as quickly as it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, when you told me that story about the conversation with your son and your ex-wife in the garage, oh my God, that had to be an incredible conversation. And obviously, it's impacted you because you still talk about it. So, and there's so many people out there that don't have anybody, and we understand that. Every addict that's gone through this, eventually, they wear everybody out to a point, and the people you love can't trust you anymore, for good reason, unfortunately, but they can't. And some people do give up, and I think that's the point, Joe, that we decided, the three of us, to do this show is don't give up.
That's why Hope Rocks was created.
If nothing else, we're here. I'm telling you, I give my cell number every day. Frankie gives his. You can call me 24 hours a day. I will answer my phone. I'm not a recovering addict, but I will get you to Frankie. I will get you to, and you get you help. Don't think you're all alone, because when you get to that point where you're all alone, we all know where that leads, and we don't want that to happen. So please, that's why we're doing this. Joe, why don't you give out the email and the websites and all that stuff?
Yeah, they're on the screen, and we really encourage everyone or anyone to take a look at the resources that we're sharing with you on the screen, on the lower thirds, and reach out to us. Comment on us. Comment. Let us know what you think. If you have an acute situation, let us know. We'll do everything we can to find help for you. And again, to go back to the beginning of why we're doing this particular programming is because no matter what, in the depths of darkness, as long as there's a little light, as long as there's a glimmer of light, there's possibility. When that glimmer of light goes out, there's no possibility. I always say that with hope, all things are possible. Without hope, nothing is possible. So we're here for you, and we will continue to do so. And who knows, your story can be like Frankie's story, and you deserve to fulfill your potential as an individual, because there's so much more out there for you that you don't even know is possible, but it's there.
Yeah, I can add to that. So I'm not special. I say that all the time. I am not special. I am not to be put up on a pedestal. Anyone could end up where I ended up. Ask for help. Admit your wrongs. Admit you got a problem. And just say you're willing to go to any lengths to get it. I didn't get it the first time. First time I went to rehab, I was like, all right, I just ain't going to do drugs. But I can still drink, right? One day at a rehab, I'm drinking. And then, 5-6 years later, I'm back in rehab because I'm on pills again. I did the same thing the second time. Well, alcohol is not the problem. It's just pills, right? No. Alcohol is also a drug. Make no mistake. Alcohol is taking people out all the time. And because it's legal and because you see it literally everywhere. I go to the gas station the other day. It's sitting right there while I'm paying for my friggin' Gatorade. It's in your face all the time. To me, it's actually worse. You got to work a little harder to find the drugs, right? If you're an alcoholic, way cheaper, and you can find it anywhere you want at any time. I DoorDash also, to make extra money. It pops up on my phone, oh, you got an order, go pick it up at the liquor store. And you can, you know what, I'm not even going to say because I want to give people ideas. But I should have left that out, actually. But the point I'm trying to make is, alcohol is just as much the problem as any drug out there. It, to me, even probably worse at some points. I just wanted to touch on one more thing. You said your friend was in here and he had a loss, like 2 months being sober.
Yeah.
That Aunt Marie that I was talking about, a year and a half into my recovery,
I remember. Yeah.
she dies. She died horribly of cancer. I'm still working through that, you know. So I get sober and I'm like, yes, my life is great. I got my kids back. I got my family back. Oh yeah, you're going to lose your favorite person in the whole world. And by like, not old age, you know, not anything natural, horribly of cancer. So I told you, a lot of sober support, man. I'm telling you, it took a village and a school district and a whole lot of people to get Frankie sober. I had all this support. And there's a guy in my life, his name is Sean. And Sean's a badass. And he comes to me one day and he hands me this bracelet. I've had it on I've never taken it off in just about 3 years now. And he told me it was his brother who he lost to this disease too. And it says, no matter what club. And I am a proud member of the No Matter What Club. And all that means is whatever life throws at me, I may screw up. I may punch a wall if I'm really hurting. I'm not perfect. But no matter what, I don't drink a drug. No matter what life throws at me. And one day at a time, it's been working. And that's okay. So I just wanted to add that in too. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, but it's Frankie.
That's
It's
what
all
it's all
part
about.
of it, and what you're describing, I couldn't. I'm not sure I'm strong enough that I could get through that. To be honest with you, and you did, and that's the difference. And, you know, I call you a warrior not because it's the cool name. It's because you are a warrior. You don't give up. And I've got people. You and I know someone who was very close to me that lost the battle, and we tried very, very hard with him. A lot of people did. He was extremely intelligent, and he thought he had it all figured out. I mean, he went through rehab 4 or 5 times. He would get clean. He wanted no part of the aftercare. I don't need that. I'm fine. I'm good. Leave me alone. And then certain triggers happened. One of them was with it. The last one, the final blow, was with his kids. And that ended it. He went from on a really great run where we thought he had it, he's got this, and something happened with his kids that completely upended his life. And that was the end. That was the beginning of the end. He never recovered from that. And sadly, we lost him 2 years ago. I think he overdosed. They never said officially what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was. He hit bottom so bad that there was nowhere to go. Nobody could get to him. Nobody could help him. So the story that you're telling is even more amazing than you believe it is. And when you think about it, that you're here and you're living the life, buddy. I'm so proud of it. You're living your best life. It's so great to see you. You make me happy every time I talk to you. It's kind of funny.
Too.
Joe, all of a sudden during the day, I'll take, hey, buddy, how you doing? What's going on? From him, not me checking on him. He checks on me. And I check on him once in a while, but I don't usually.
You guys are two of my favorite people. Why wouldn't I check in once in a while?
It's kind of cool when it happens. It makes me smile when it happens.
Yep, and it's,
If I could just add this on the end, because I know we're probably wrapping up. Go to detox, go to rehab, get help. Yes. But, like you just said it, man, getting that help, reaching out once you're out of a facility, that is so, so key. I've seen it so many time again. People walk out of rehab and they say, yo, I got this. Don't say that. You've got what you got right now. But to keep it, you've got to work on it every single day. So reach out to us. Like, the information is there. We'll get you in touch with me. Any of us will point you in the right direction. If you want peer-to-peer, and this ain't like a money thing. Like, I don't charge people or anything like that. I will do everything I can in my power to help another person stay sober, find those loves in their life again, and just live happy, joyous, and free. Like, that's what it's all about. So please reach out. Please, if you are in recovery, please continue talking to your people. You don't have to do any of this on your own, ever. Like, that's the coolest thing about these recovery programs, these self-help programs. they've been around forever, and they're going to be around forever. You can always find someone to help. If it's not us, like, I'm not the end-all, be-all, you know? Like, reach out to somebody. Just don't do this alone, and don't be alone, man. It's okay to not be okay.
So I've done it every show. My cell number, my personal cell is 845-401-2598. That's 845-401-2598. It's on 24 hours a day. I will answer the phone. I don't have the ability that Frankie has, but I'll get you to Frankie, or I'll get you to Joe. I'll get you to somebody. And I work for iHeartMedia of the Hudson Valley. We're at 20 Tucker Drive. I'm here all the time. If you don't get me on the phone, come knock on the door and tell them somebody you want to talk to me. I'll come talk to you. But the point is, you just said it, Frankie. You've got to start somewhere, and you've got to understand there is hope. You have a chance. If you've given up, even if you've given up, you heard Frankie say that he had gotten to a point where he gave up, and somebody came and helped him. That's what we're here for. Even if you've given up, even if maybe you think you can't do it, I'm telling you, I know you can do it, because I've watched people like Frankie who were down at the bottom of the barrel, man. They were fighting to stay alive. And if you could see him now, you would. If I introduce Frankie to people now, and then after they get to know him, but tell them what he went through, they're like, "You're crazy. He would never win. He couldn't have been like that." But he was.
Sometimes I got to show pictures to people to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just reach out, man. It's so important. Screw stigma, right? I'm done with that. There is not a whole lot anybody could tell me stuff they've done in their addiction or alcoholism where they're going to get a judgment out of me. Yeah. I don't think anything, really. Maybe, but mostly.
Well, and just to cap things off, stigma, we talk about all the time. Stigma is deadly, but you got to look at it this way. If you break your arm, or your appendix burst, or if you have something, you have pneumonia, you go get help. You go to somebody who can help you. You get treatment. Addiction is a sickness. Don't go down that road that it's a mental illness or something. It's a physical sickness that has to be treated. And if you don't treat it, you're going to die. It's going to kill you. And it's going to kill your family members, too. You're going to take family with you. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, and I'm never having this argument. It's a disease. I'm saying that right on camera right now. Yeah. I don't care what anybody thinks. It is a disease, and it is a physical disease, and it is also a mental health disease. It absolutely is. And you're right. You need treatment. You need to treat any disease that you have. It needs treatment, and sometimes it needs treatment every single day. That's what it is. Like, period, end of story.
Well, Joe, it's another interesting conversation. I think we could go for another hour or two, and we'll be back again next month with more. Frankie will be with us. I do want to say that I'm very excited with Hope Rocks. We've got a big festival coming up in August that
the wheels are turning.
Man, we've got some people I'm dealing with, and we got some big sponsors. By the way, we were looking for sponsors. Anybody who wants to be part of this Hope Rocks movement, man, we can use your help. And like Ryan House, Hope Rocks is completely privately funded through donation.
100% private donations and sponsorships and organized and run by a complete volunteer staff. So if you're interested in volunteering or finding out information in which you can financially support this next endeavor, visit our website.
What's the date again, Frank?
It's the
Hope Rocks. The Hope Rocks
proposed festival date is August 15th and 16th at Cantine Field in Saugerties. And if you've ever been to a festival, it's quite a celebration of recovery, healing, and wellness. And we're excited to be bringing it back.
We've got some really exciting entertainment we're talking to that I'm going to make Frankie's year if I can pull it off. But let's just say maybe the son of the sinner will be there. Who knows? We're trying.
Yo, I've been asking that dude to reach out to me for 4.5 years now. He will. Let's get it going.
He will.
Don't give up. Never give up.
Frankie, God bless you, buddy. You know I love you, and you know how proud I am of you, and I'm so happy you're here. And I think Joe and I are both so grateful that you were just honest, open and honest about everything. You have no idea how many people you probably just helped just by telling the story, which is cool. But they've got to go beyond the stories. They've got to get in touch.
Yeah, let's
get
to work, right? Let's do it. I just want to thank you guys so much for everything that you do. For people like me who are in recovery and addiction, to see people like you guys who are not and going out of your way to help people like you do, That's something unbelievable. That's what the rest of the world should be doing. All this garbage we're seeing out there, it should be people helping people. That's what we're put here for. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much.
Hey, we do the best we can, but we can't do it without you, your testimony, your experience, your courage, and Uncle Mike says it. You're a hope warrior, and we need more hope warrior. The world would be so much better with more people willing to share their experiences and share the difficulty that they encounter on a daily basis, trying to live a life that they can imagine.
Yep.
You know, they say it takes a village, but we're building a city here. Trust me, we're going to keep doing this, and I can't tell you, if we only help one person, I'm going to be excited. But I know we're going to help a lot more. And please call us. I'm telling you, call my number. If you can't get a hold of me, come knock on the door here. I'll come out and talk to you, and I'll make sure. I can't do what Frankie does because I never went through it, but I'll get you to Frankie, or I'll get you to Joe, or I'll get you to somebody, Ryan House. We're connected to all these places that are they're there and they're waiting to help you. They want to help you.
And if you want to just comment, we'll be answering those comments.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We'll be monitoring this. This isn't like something we're going to throw up there and just let it fly.
Nope.
We'll be answering questions, comments, whatever you need.
Absolutely.
Now, Uncle Mike, I think as we move forward with Hope Rocks Recovery, Hope Answers, Frankie's going to be one of the moderators.
Sure. Yeah. I have him on the radio with me all the time. I usually take the afternoon off. I let him do the show.
Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you and everything you do.
Oh, God bless you.
God bless everybody out there, and please, there is hope, and don't give up. Don't ever give up, because Frankie is living proof to not ever give up. And there's thousands of you out there that are like Frankie and worse, and we know that. And it's okay. It's okay that you're like that, but don't stay like that.
Be proud of yourself. Even one day sober is the biggest accomplishment in this world. So just keep fighting.